possibility of extending the duration of life is a central goal in modern medicine, pursued in the study and practice of cryonics. Applying the science of cryogenics, which studies matter at extremely low temperatures, physicians hope to cryopreserve organisms to be warmed and revived in the future. The best documented origins of modern cryonics was in 1962 with Robert Ettinger's book, The Prospect of Immortality. Here he describes his belief that dying is a gradual and reversible process, and if humans were frozen before the process were complete, repairing the damages produced by freezing would require little in technological advancements. He operates on the assumption that future medical technology will allow physicians to repair damaged organs and tissues, in particular those which cause death, and restore the patient to a youthful vitality. Prompted by these beliefs, Ted Cooper founded the Life Extension Society in 1964, and on January 12, 1967, 73-year-old Dr. James Bedford became the first successfully cryopreserved patient. Since then, roughly 200 patients have been cryopreserved, while over 1,000 are members of cryonics societies such as Alcor Life Extension Foundation, Cryonics Institute, and the American Cryonics Society, with arrangements to be preserved when the time comes. A recent advancement in the field of cryopreservation came in 2000 with the application of vitrification. By replacing the blood in an organism with a special anti-freezing fluid, the cell's damage caused by the formation of ice crystals can be prevented. While the process is still being refined, individuals such as Dr. Gregory Fahey, Vice President and Chief Scientific Officer at the cryobiological research company 21st Century Medicine, have conducted experiments with encouraging results. He perfused a rabbit kidney with cryopreserving fluids and cooled it into a temperature of negative 130 degrees Celsius in liquid nitrogen. Later, after warming the kidney and removing the cryopreserving fluids, he transplanted it back into a live rabbit. Remarkably, the kidney functioned and could sustain life even when the unpreserved kidney was removed. Additionally, researcher of molecular nanotechnology Dr. Ralph Merkel believes we will soon be able to release microscopic mechanisms into the body to repair on a single cellular level the residual structural damage caused by freezing. With the prospects of mass cryopreservation quickly becoming a reality, scientists, physicians, and policymakers must look to the arising medical and social implications. Already, there is a technologically driven redefinition of death, as opposed to the previously postulated clinical death in which there is no respiration or blood circulation, and legal death in which a person is declared deceased under law by a qualified professional. Chronicists describe an information-theoretic definition of death. This level of death constitutes the irreversible destruction of the human brain structure of stored memory, personality, and experience. By suspending the body before information-theoretic death, it may be possible to restore a cryonic patient's body and allow them to resume life where they left off. Ultimately, cryopreservation will only be effective if a future civilization chooses to respect patients' requests for resurrection and are able to incorporate those patients into an unfamiliar human populace. Furthermore, if someday we have advanced such that we are able and willing to revive cryonics patients and restore them to full health, effectively eliminating the inevitability of death, we will be faced with the critical question of what constitutes an acceptable lifespan.